Hey guys, Faye here with delicious pasta. This video is going to be probably pretty short, but I just wanted to do a quick video on why I don't do spell work, or why I haven't done spell work, but why I still think that it's okay for me to identify myself as a witch. So, when I first started, of course, the number one reason that we all started was doing witchcraft was because of the control that gives us over our own reality. I have a hard time reconciling... Okay, well, so... I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, or like how I'm going to say this. I think I'm probably just going to throw a bunch of things that don't make sense to me out at you, and that's just going to be my explanation for why I don't practice magic, or why I haven't yet practiced magic through like some sort of ritual in a, like as a spell. So lots of people define spells as a sort of fancy prayer. They're praying to the gods, the one, the all, the great spirit, source energy, whatever it is that you believe in. You might even have patron gods and goddesses. I've already done my like little spiel. I think I might have done it and even posted it, but I probably haven't. But I mean, I'm going to do a spiel. You might see a video about my spiel on gods and goddesses and how I reconcile deity, and how, like, or not reconcile, but like how I understand deity to be. The only way I can perceive deity to be. And I'm not sure if I buy into that. There's a lot about spell work that I don't really understand, which is part of the reason why I haven't done it. One of the books that I first read said that you shouldn't practice this, or like you shouldn't like jump into magic because it could be dangerous. You need to like really make sure that what you want is what you want, because you could get something that you thought you wanted but you didn't really want because you didn't think it through all the way. There are repercussions to every action kind of situation. So part of the reason that I haven't outright done like a magic spell per se is because of that warning. Another reason why I don't practice spell work is sort of because they define it that way. They define it as sort of a fancy prayer. And I don't know. I'm not entirely sure I can reconcile the idea of having deity at all and still practice. Like, isn't the point of it supposed to be that you're taking control of it yourself? If you say that a spell is a prayer to a god or goddess or deity or all great spirit, whatever, then isn't that just really like you asking, or even kind of demanding? Doesn't that make you kind of sound like a little spoiled brat demanding that, oh, I want this, I need this right now, please give this, or not even please, just give this to me because I deserve it, and because I have this magical incense, and my intent is like not pure in most cases. In my opinion, in most cases the intent is not pure. And I say that because I kind of feel like if your intent really is pure, just the thought of you like thinking very hard and putting all of your energy into thinking about something, if your intent is pure, then I think that's potent enough for it to happen. And that's the kind of magic that I've been doing up to now. Some people reconcile it differently. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the only reason. I'm not saying that just be like, if you're doing spells, your intent isn't pure. It hasn't happened because your intent isn't pure. But on Pagan Perspective, they did a series, or like a opinion topic on why magic doesn't work sometimes. I guess because I believe in a sort of oneness, a collective human, well, not even just human, but a collective unconscious for everything in the world. For everything in the world. I think that because I believe that, well, because I believe that that's the closest thing you can get to deity. And I believe that the only way that we can relate to this is through making it either male or female or both. And then further splitting it off into different personalities of that as well. Because I believe that, but I also believe that our soul is a piece of that same energy, so we're technically living gods, I guess you could say. Not quite by the same definition of the gods that we imagine, because they're immortal and invincible. But that's the only way I can reconcile deity, at least now. Maybe when I'm older, that'll change, but right now. But because I see it that way, I kind of feel like it's really weird to invoke a god or goddess's name, give them a bunch of magical stuff that's supposed to be some sort of magical secret code, and the god or goddess won't do it without the right code. What I really think you're doing is communing with the god or goddess in yourself. It's just focusing energy. But like I said, I think the number one reason why I haven't done spells to this day is just because I'm afraid of the repercussions. What if I get what I wanted and find that I didn't actually want it? I don't know. I feel like some people don't think these things through. I mean, a lot of people, I've never seen anyone on YouTube say, you know, I did this spell and I thought that I wanted it, but now that I'm here, I need a spell to undo it. I very rarely see things like that. Every now and then you see something very similar, like where they're referencing another time. It's more out of warning rather than, dude, guys, today, or yesterday, last night, on the full moon, I cast a spell for prosperity, and my aunt died. And I got, like, $5,000. And right now, I wish that I didn't have $5,000. I wish I had my aunt back. Everyone has that. And I'm kind of afraid of having that. I don't want to regret anything that I do in this life. I've already got enough regrets. Just having graduated from school at the lowest possible rung that you could graduate from school. I don't need to regret anything else. Especially my spirituality. My spirituality is way more important to me than my education. Well, they go hand in hand, but if the education is outside of my spirituality, it's just not that important to me. I mean, it is, but not that important. If it came down to education that had nothing to do with my spirituality and my spirituality, I'd pick my spirituality every time. Just be sure that you're ready for every eventuality. I mean, Charlie from Charlie Says Go, she recommended a book called E Squared, I think, was like energy times energy, or whatever. And, like, I guess it's sort of like the energy you put in is the energy you get back. It's a law of attraction. But it was like the whole book, and it's really, like, it's really good. It's well written, and I like the idea. It's like written out as if, like, these are experiments that you should do. See how they work. Kind of situation. Maybe I'm just too analytical to put, like, all my energy into something that I'm not entirely sure works. I can't get past that. Like, I can't get past that doubt that this might not work. Which is a reoccurring theme in my life. But it's a good book. It's a good theory. When I can get to the point where I'm not questioning everyone else's opinion all the time, maybe it'll work. But it hasn't really worked for me. But it might work for you if you're more open-minded than I am. But, or less open-minded, depending on how you look at it. Technically, I'm more open-minded because I'm not just blindly accepting something that someone tells me. I'm saying, okay, I see what you're saying. However, here's this other voice over here that also says this. I'm going to take both of those things into account when I do this. And it just won't work that way. My thought process won't work that way. If you can do it and not do it the way I did it, it'll probably work really well. But it didn't work too great for me. Anyways, what was my point? Oh, yeah, I have no idea what my point was on that. I'm gonna have to, like, rewatch this and pick that back up. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna do that again this year. I'm gonna read that book and do those things along with, like, my year in a day. So, yeah, no. That's kind of how I feel about spells. I just haven't, well, that's not to say I haven't cast spells by my own definition, which still makes me a witch. I already said that, like, I think that if your intention is really, really pure, just the thought that, okay, I really need this, and focusing on it, and, like, say meditation, is enough to make it happen. So I've done that a few times. That I believe in. That I can get behind. And I'm not sure how it works. That's just how it works for me. I just don't need to do a whole, like, ritual for that to happen. I mean, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of, like, having a bubbling cauldron and, like, tossing a bunch of stuff in there, making potions that will also, like, cast spells and stuff. I just don't, I can't. It's sort of like the difference between using a tool and using your finger to, like, focus energy. It's the same basic principle. Except I use, well, like, it's like where some people say you need to use tools at least in the beginning to sort of get in the hang of it. I kind of see it as the other way around. Maybe if you want to put, like, a time limit on it. Oh, I remember my point to the book. So the point of the book was that you have to demand. You have to demand it, and you have to be very specific. So just saying, I want, like, $5,000 by the end of this week, that's not specific enough. Let's say that what you really mean was, I want the $5,000 bonus that I would get if I reach a certain goal by the end of this week. You have to be really specific because, like I said, an ant could die. You could get $5,000 and not be happy because you love that ant. And then you'd be sad, but you'd have $5,000. You got what you wanted. Energy doesn't know any better. Like I said, I don't think the energy or source or the all or the great spirit, I don't think that it's male or female, good or bad, you know. It just is. Nature's not good or evil, it just is. So, to a mouse, a cat's evil. But you have to weigh the... I mean, if a mouse doesn't die, in some cases, a cat might. So, you have to weigh the... It's all about balance. And like I said, it's all about your intent. If you don't care, if you didn't really like that ant, then go ahead, go for it, and just be like, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. I hope that my ant dies, and then I get $5,000. But at that point, that's on you. This is supposed to be a quick video, and I've gone on. It probably really is. I haven't really said that much, but whatever. Those are my thoughts on spell work. I still identify myself as a witch because, like I said, all I really have to do is focus on it long enough, like in a sort of meditation, and it'll happen. So that's why, because like the definition of a witch is, some people think that a witch is a doing word. Well, technically everyone's a witch then, because they're all doing that to some degree. So whatever. What makes a witch? Is it spells? Is it the intent? Is it the acknowledgement of how or why you do those spells? I don't know. You decide. In my opinion, being a witch, it doesn't matter how you're doing it. Everyone's a witch, essentially. It's just all about recognizing yourself as a witch and following those credos that were set up thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Or if you could argue the point and say that it probably was like made up only about 60 years ago by Gerald Gardner. But I guess it depends on which path you follow. If you're Wiccan, then that's how soon it was made up. And if you're anything else and you're practicing a very old tradition by very traditional standards, then that's how long it's been. About a few thousand years. I might in the future, if it's important enough and it requires enough focus in my energy and everything, I might cast a spell, but I've not had to. I've not had a situation that dire, so I'm just gonna play it by ear. And that's not to say that I wouldn't do it if I absolutely needed to do it, but I'm playing it by ear. So yeah, those are my thoughts on spell work. Those are my thoughts on why I don't practice spell work, or at least not by traditional standards, and why I still think that it's okay for me to identify myself as a witch. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Please like and subscribe if you liked my video. I have a few other videos on my channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you guys. My mommy made me chicken Alfredo for my birthday, and this is the leftovers, so she loves me. Nick asked if he could have this last night, and I said no. Partially because I was already mad at him, but also because this is mine, so screw him. Anyways, and I'm weird and I eat my chicken Alfredo with balsamic vinegar. Sue me. Anyways, my dog thinks that if he gets in my lap and rubs his wet fucking nose all over my hands, I will give him food. And there's not even food on my plate.